This furthers time where life starts to lose its wonder and zest. When you feel more tired than you do calm. When you and I realize you're using coffee as a security blanket. You start a circle under your eyes. When you look back to a time where life feels seamless and almost magical. Because by simply living, we take on risks, but not the good type of risks. The risks being stats like social media, streaming, gaming, and news. The risks of simulated sexual stimulation like pornography, dating apps. The risks of consumable like alcohol, drugs, and junk food. Shopping sprees, extreme sports. I'm not demonstrating your action here. I'm not a state that any means. I'm just a guy who study weird stuff and share what he learned on the internet for money, sure, but also meaning. Because if I want to get filthy rich, I start a religion. Most people online love to put on these guides, perfectionists. They'll be first to tell you when you're doing something that's just slightly bad, but when you look at their life, they're usually not in the physical, mental, spiritual, or financial situation that you would ever want to be in, and that's one sign you've done and someone else thinks it's bad at least 5 to 10 to 100 times this way. And so have to people that think what you are doing is bad, and that's fine. But we are not here to discuss morality behind all this. Instead, I want to talk about this when you live in today's world on convenience and pleasure. If you don't want to become a monk, because if you didn't want that, the ego, which I find funny, which I need to tool performance and factory reset on your life. Humans create tools to solve problems. Technology creates problem, but it also always humans to do what used to be impossible, meaning in this world of technology you need some kind of tools or to mitigate the problem that technology causes. You're not going to go and live in the world, then you need to implement something into your life that helps mitigate the risks of using your phone, using the internet, being around cheap and convenient food. Exactly. Once a year, for 30 days at a time, you will buffer the consequences of modern life. In other words, you will bring that childlike wonder back into your life. That feeling of not caring, that feeling of not never made it with open mind, that of not being stuck in your head all of it, being experience life on a deeper level. So before we talk about actual dopamine detox protocol, let's talk about the brain. Let's talk about what's going on with these chips. Dopamine epidemic is such a problem, and I also want to note should come with it's a protocol to reset your life in 90 days instead of life like we are talking about in this video, training, nutrition, and life system that goes live in October 20th, and the price increases. Your brain operates on silent network, meaning whatever provides the most dopamine becomes the most important. Oh my god. Wait. I think you can also see a big problem that it become, but let's have some fun and let's break it down. As we've discussed way too many times, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the God flow, the flow psychology, he flowed and flowed from ultimate state of human experience or just pure enjoyment, require a specific skill to challenge ratio. If the challenge of the goal is too high for your skill level, you get anxious. If the challenge is too low, you get bored. You will then find a level 100% character, you are level 1. It just doesn't make sense. Overstimulation destroys the potential for flow states of enjoyment because raise the bar for what you consider stimulating. Everything that is more boring than your phone, gambling, porn, partying, and rest of automatically labeling of boring of your damage. So a dopamine detox has become a well-marketed way of resetting your baseline for stimulation, and it works so well for 3 reasons. The first is that Barendom is a great way to not lead Cartman OG psychology Hartman of the importance of dealing with boredom. Does this. It achieves breakthroughs inside when the region reveal our authentic desire beneath external condition. It sets the scenes for threefold trigger, making it more likely to enter season living and learning and building. The first trigger in deep obedience, so being present with discomfort. The second is novelty, because boredom forces you to seek new, healthier stimulation. The third immerse the void. You're bored because you don't have a quest. You don't have a quest because you're playing someone else's game. And enter solitude. It's the solution. Stop playing any game and sit with your boredom until your own becomes clear. Now, the second reason that dopamine detox works so well is that the brain will upgrade dopamine receptors when because high enough updamation is your psychological hormone. No matter how high the low temperature goes, it always tries to return the set point. This creates what psychology call the high dop. So I mean you're always running towards next you're in the normal stimulation, emotional, but your dopamine pleasure, the opposite happen. It's hedonic treatment reverse slowly, then rapidly. Simple pleasure become enjoyable again. You experience what the Buddhist calls beginner's mind. You notice the detail in the sky when you walk outside. Notice the heat rosemary in a well-cooked meal. Life becomes electric as it should be. Now, the third reason of dopamine detox works is that you don't need motivation, you need clarity. Now said all the human's problems seems from man's analog just sit quite a room around. So think about that. When was the last time you actually create space for emergence? Because that's how reality works. Through chaos or change perspective of chaos in order to emerge. And when I heard that, I can't help but think about his image. The dopamine detox creates space of sense making, that is processing, integrating, experience the information as modern technology create and context collapse. Our brain is only capable of processing so much information around blah 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 blah. So if you were to bring on wood over the course of months, you will probably gain a good amount of weight. Now, if you were to bring information from social media, as example, every day since you had that installed with your phone, you're walking around mentally obese and don't notice it because normal. It's honesty. Now, when you drive yourself into point, all of the problems that you suppress up and now will be painful, but if you sit with it long enough, you receive a burst of clarity that launches you into a new process. So now we talk about the actual dopamine detox protocol. What we gotta do for the next 30 days. Now, the ultimate goal is to become an ascetic or a monk, or to go live in woods and never experience modern pleasure again. The goal is to develop severity of agency and capacity to choose consequence rather than react compulsive. The capacity to notice where your life hating, generate new goals that align with the blah 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 without permission from everyone else. A periodic detox is calibration tool to keep you on track every 6 to 12 months, and this creates the foundation. Consider experience a life composition the flow stage where challenge and skill dance and perfect harmony, creating meaning through engaged attention and action. Iklan guys. Here's the protocol. Step 1 is the pain and engage story. Because before we continue, there's a problem. You watch this far, you like what you're hearing, you're motivated to change your life, but we all know that unless you set the stage for an identity shift, because all lasting behavior change is identity change, you will give up and in 2 weeks we like always. So you need to create physical, emotional and specific stories to be act one for where your life will end up if you will living in the pain, or one for you will become if you decided to change. Now, for things like this, I love using AI. I don't like having AI tell me what my pain story or my gain story is, because it needs personal context. That's when I like using AI. So when I have to give it a personal context, it can string it together so many things that it didn't before, and it can just be difficult doing into your own head and find out these things are usually it comes through a few months of just going about life and having conversation and noticing a little here and there about do that blah blah blah. I don't that, but you can get that faster by conversing with AI in correct way. So I created this extremely expensive AI prompts to ask you questions and to help determine what your pain and gain story is, and this is the foundation of having the motivation to actually change. Now, a disclaimer here is that program this to be pretty intense. It told you and to hold back in this tries to bow now Furthermore, in Superhuman 90, the complete life research 90 days that I talked about before, link in the description if you want more of that. Now, step 2 in the protocol is to go monk mode, because if you've never done this before, it will be difficult, and you will probably give up very quick. That's why step 1 is so important. Now, for 30 days, you're eliminating binge stage technology. Social media, streaming, gaming, news, urban natural, sexual simulation, porn, dating apps, alcohol, drunk, junk food, sweetness in general, and strengthening. So gambling, shopping, spreads, extreme sport. Now what am I gonna do when my time then? That's an extra problem. What do you mean? What do you do with your time? You move, you exercise, you talk to people, you prepare for your food, you learn, you build toward your goal. And while you're doing those things is sit down, breathe down until it's no longer boring. Now getting into the things that you are implementing into your lifestyle. Step 10,000 steps a day. Sounds simple, but hear me out. The things that is 10,000 steps a day was actually marketing gimmick to help sell patterns. The sweet spot for walking is actually 700 to 800 steps. That's where steps last. Now why go on more walks? For most untrained people is for cardio to improve digestion, blood pressure, ensure sensitivity, helping you to get stay lean. You finally get some sunlight and fun and to learn something new. So instead your audiobook or lecture, if you can resolve mental turmoil, reflect on your life, you can generate idea that can be put you use deep work session. Now especially here I recommend the 3-20 method. That's what it is, kind of super simple. You work 3 times a day, 20 minutes after each major meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, because 120 minutes is more than 2 double. So if you do that 3 times a day, you'll get the benefit. That's his problem if you work any other time during the day, because the thing if you do it morning, afternoon, night, you get morning sunlight, afternoon sunlight, evening sunlight, which will drastically increase your sleep quality. You'll be drowsing, water weight, inflammation. If you've never done this before, you're going to be noticed definitely drastic change in how you look and feel within the first 7 days. And this is considered you'll live the average American lifestyle, and this is in the context and entire Dopamine Detox protocol, the 10 step into get you moving and forward building stop too seriously. Because when I look and feel terrible, I don't want to do anything with my life. I want to hide from the world. I don't feel confident in my actions, so I stop caring even more. I let myself go. I bring it. I have zero discipline and simply feel worse. Now I personally believe that every single person should do some from resistance training. Cardio is great, but it's a bit of muscle mass. In my own life, I'm going to the gym and working light. Sometimes I do cardio in the morning. I've actually been doing more than just 20 minutes first thing when I wake up. But the person, nobody wants to look a runner, but I'm talking about runners who only run and don't lift and didn't their physique by lifting and then start running. And people think that they gone physique from running. That it's okay. You're not like human runs. Favor woman, you want to have a figure is your survival. Because you not create that physique, the gym through someone in HIIT training. You can calisthenics, you can at home workshop, stop them away. What is jump away? It's to jump. And no, ladies, you never get booked and have been trying to. But beyond that, 30 plus exercise progress takes system of dopamine release is. Movement is one of the most reliable triggers. It creates a benefit for brain dominant factor, supporting neuroplasticity, strength training, lower the risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and early deaths. Plus, muscle protects against, for example, vertical muscle, cortical BMR equals you can eat more without gaining fat, and it boosts mitochondrial designs eventually, which equal more energy. And you don't want to hear regardless of risky and can get injured, because the answer is yes if you are stupid or don't know what you're doing. So first learn about the 2. Go to gym. If you were my training, also my trainer will given you human body is 90% creative process. Check it out. Now step 5 into elimination diet, because I love health and fitness. It's been my passion for 15 years now, since I was 50. I just turned 29 yesterday, and yes, now I was obsessed on tracking calories and macros. I try every diet under the sun, but still not try it every time under the sun. Understand that obvious principle that I'm trying to be non-dramatic about of that. With that said, I do everyone should be elimination diet at least once a day. Why? Because it nearly granted a drastic boost to you, also lower inflammation of the water, weight, walking, tense, wider with withdrawal. If you actually commit to 30 plus day, you will be rewired eating habits and potentially become disgusting. And you will find food great, disgusting problems, skin problems, headache, or food, or just making you feel terrible. Because to make this simple, let's have this video drag on. Just try the vertical diet. It's been stand for medical and image. It's pretty simple. Very nutrient dense, white rice, easy to digest, and micronutrition. Various other things that just follow. But this is the diet I return when I need to go back and when I find myself going out too much, going to go to gym and starting the hours and look popular in the face in the morning. But yeah, try it out. And step 6 is to build a new project that increases your potential. Now listen to this carefully. The best way to learn is to build a real broad project and only search for information when you need. How much you learn is directly correctly with how much you progress make on the project. When you watch and listen to the video, you'll find your mind with noise and chaos. Most of the information goes to waste and leads to overwhelm, anxiety, and slow down how fast you learn. Now it comes to the build project, because the only reason you're learning in the first place to build the project you feel is if you learn nothing, if you search in the information anyway. So if you want to learn faster, skip the tutorial phase, outline project first. Now this confuses a lot of people. What do you mean a project? A project is anything you have. You can be project your business, you can be project a thing of Photoshop, you can be project. A project is simply a structured way of achieving a goal or making progress toward a goal. It's like a weaver, the narrow your RAM, your main pages. And as you learn, as you read books, study tutorial, or have conversation, good dopamine will support into your brain signal that information is important for the complete project. Your concept will match problem and send relevant ideas to your concept. This is what creative calls shower thoughts. It's when the default mode, where your brain is active when you're at rest. Charles when work on his project and focus blocks, then when a long works and this works his praise as potential solutions to problem pop into his head. Now here's how you start project. Choose something to build that moves the needle toward what you want in life and promote early. This your pain and gain story, create a notch dopamine. Save 3 to 5 sources of inspiration that you want to implement. If you're creating a YouTube video as a project, you will 3 to 5 YouTube video I would create similar studies. Study those sources and break down their structure of characteristic. Outline the project into section, millions, 10 images, inspire what you need to know, and let's have to please capture idea that you to mind traveling somewhere to lose idea to forget about them. So now that you're ready to start, don't start learning, just start the project. Now step 7, and arguably most important one nobody does, is to reflect for 10 minutes every night. Because your brain is constantly trying to process your experience, when you don't give it dedicated time, you check your intention at the worst possible moments. This is a zigzag effect. Your brain holds under complex tasks and experience, creating tension that drains your cognitive to control reflection, help close open loops for the day, among others. Things like it's active metacognitive are thinking about your thinking. It triggers from human intelligence. It builds a feedback loop from progress. After 30 days, you'll have 30 data points about what actually moves your life forward. It transforms mistake into data rather than regrets and reduce decision risk for tomorrow. So set non-negotiable alarm for 9:30 p.m. or 30 minutes before bedtime. Use 3-2-3 framework: 3 wins, 2 lessons, 1 attention. For the morning, use a physical notebook. Don't go down any digital rabbit holes, especially before bed. And you can start with 2, and then if you 10 minutes feel like 2 months. Dopamine Detox clearly knows that the walking creates space, the gym builds confidence, the diet optimizes your biology, the project gives you purpose, and reflection is how you track mental, the spiritual progress. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn high income skill and this project, if you enjoy this project or build like we talk about the video, check out 2 hours writer. If you want to full of dopamine detox training, illustration, life planning, and digital might strip 10%, I highly recommend watching last week's video on human 3D model and the video called how to make progress 10 times faster your life, and it's a full guide to doing. Just like, subscribe again. Right, that's shadowing practice from Denko, which is talking about the dopamine detox protocol to reset your life. Is it work or not? You have to try it.